Hello and welcome. It's Kevin again. Thank you for dropping by. I want to share with you a very important lesson. This lesson's all about how courage can help you succeed in anything you want in life. It's important. If this is your first time, the subscribe button below, click that little bell so you get the next video first. Every week we're going to send out a little video message that will help you on your road to success. Okay, let's talk about courage. What is courage and why is it important? In this lesson, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what is courage, why it's so important that you embrace courage in your journey to success, and how courage is a very, very important core or foundation of all of your success. Okay, so, and I'm going to give you some examples of some people who have really shown some courage in their life. So what is courage? Is courage not being scared? No. Courage is getting on and doing something even though you are scared. We all have fears. We all have things that make us so scared our knees are shaking and we probably feel like we want to quickly run to the bathroom. But the thing is that people with courage have learned to take the fear, put it in the pocket or pass it on and get on with what they need to get done, and they can worry about whether or not it might have failed afterwards. You need to find the courage. You need to do what you need to do despite all the overwhelming things around you that make you feel like you're going to fall down. Courage is about getting on with something despite all the fears going on around you. So why embrace courage? Why do we need to do that? Why is it so important? Well, let me show you the secret. Why is it so important? Whenever we embark on something, particularly if it's new or we've never done it before, we hit, as Bob Proctor says, this terror barrier, right? We hit this little paradigm or this little glass box that we live in. We now hit the edges or the ceilings and we're doing something different. And inside of our body or inside of our mind, our habits are already formed, and now we're doing something that's outside of that. It's in the realm of the unknown. And maybe it's a creative thing that you're doing that even it's outside of what every other person is doing or most other people are doing. That creates you to worry. Oh, can I do it? Is it possible? What if I fail? All these fears and doubts will start to come onto you. That's perfectly normal because you're doing something outside of your normal habit and your body's saying, hey, guess what? You know, that's not the normal. But there are other situations. You may be in a situation in your job or your employment or your career or whatever you're doing that you're facing real life-threatening situations. And your mind is racing to think about your own self-preservation. Will I get hurt? Will I take an injury? Will I die? What is the risks on me? These are real fears, and they create a chemical reaction in our mind to try to stop us from hurting ourselves. It really is going on. But why do we need courage? Well, we need courage so that we can move into the new area to do that which has not been done before, to grow. If we are not growing, we are not fully living. If we cannot control our fears, if we can't work past our fears and limitations, we will continue to fall backwards. We are either growing or dying. That's all we really are. We're moving forward or we're moving backwards. There is nothing in the middle. And if you don't learn to push through your fears, in the end you get weaker and weaker about attempting to move through to the next fear, right? So you have to build up this ability to punch through fear. Start with little things, work towards the bigger. But every time you let fear hold you back, every time the fear overthrows your progress, you get less energy towards pushing against the next one. You can overthrow most of these things. It's just a matter of your mind, all right? You really need to practice pushing through your fears. The better you get at pushing through your fears, the faster you will move forward. It's critical to your success to see the fear, acknowledge it, and say, okay, no worries, I'm going to go ahead regardless of that, right? Most fears, they just won't happen. And if they do, deal with them when they happen. So you've got to have the courage, you've got to build that practice, doing things that are not comfortable, and you get better and better at moving forward, and success gets much easier. So courage is a core to our success, and you will find that it is part of our growth. As an example, you know, before embarking on these series of videos, I hadn't done any videos before. It made me feel a bit insecure. I had all sorts of fears about getting up there in front of the world, in front of you. And I see you're a lovely person, right? Now I know you're a wonderful person. But before, you were like that big teeth and horns and all sorts of things, right? I was scared. I had to overcome that fear. Now I've done videos, right? And I'm very comfortable in front of you. Thank you very much, and I shake your hand for that. Good work. If it had not been for you, I would be locked into my fear. So thank you for giving me the courage to move forward. So let's talk about some other people with courage. You know, I was reading a book the other day to my son about the Dalai Lama, and this story of his life, where he started in Tibet, and he was 4 years old when they finally put him on the throne and said, guess what, you're the future king, or the future leader of our people, not king, the future spiritual and political leader of this great nation in the rooftop of the world. You're 4, so now that's your destiny. How do you think he felt? I mean, maybe he was just a little bit surprised by it all, and maybe didn't fully understand. But by the time he was 15, he had the whole nation under his control. He was in charge. And of course it wasn't so easy, right? Because a little bit later on, the Chinese government decided that they would like to have Tibet. So he was faced with a situation. There was a military attack on his country, that people were fearing that they were going to die. They were looking for leadership from a boy, from somebody who's only, at that time, I think he was now in his early 20s, 21, 23, something like that. Now he was a young man faced with the lives of millions of people. Their spiritual, political future was resting in the hands of someone who was a very young person. And he feared for his life, so they took the core people, anyone who could come with them, and they marched for 2 weeks across through the ice and snow and went into India and set up a government in exile. And he has continued to use a peaceful mission to educate the world about his plight and to save his people, to work to save his people. His whole life has been dedicated to that. People have threatened to kill him. People have threatened to do all sorts of things to destroy his mission, but he has been strong and steadfast. And even under all of that conflict, all of that has not swayed him one bit. And because of his education that he's now been able to give to the world, as he's now outside of Tibet, the whole world is better off. So as a result of his struggle and his courage, the whole planet is better off. So you see that what I'm talking about? A little bit of courage from one person is changing the world. And who else has done things like that? I'm talking about Mandela, imprisoned for many years, for something like 30 years he was in prison, got out and freed his people. Gandhi, people like this, they're ordinary people with extraordinary courage. And they have changed the world. And you can too. The seed of greatness is inside you. You just need to get in there and exploit that courage. Courage is the seed of your success. You see your fear, acknowledge your fear, but know that on a day when you can put courage towards your future, if you forget about your fears, if you focus on where you want to go, and you give it everything, imagine for a minute that you are one of these great people, and I know that you are. Maybe you just haven't unearthed it yet. So how does courage work for you and bring about your success? So what we need to do is, once you clearly identify your emotional quest, your goal, what it is that you need to do, once you set that in place and you really know and you believe and you take action towards that, your actions will help build your courage. And each time you face a challenge, face the challenge as another opportunity for you to build on your courage going forward. When you have a massive quest, like you can imagine, I talked about some very big quests, like with the Dalai Lama and the Gandhi, but your quest may not be that big. It doesn't matter. What you need to do is to find out what that quest is, and what happens is, this quest or this goal or this mission, it's not about achieving something, it's about what you become on the way through. How you build your courage, how you build your strength. It's not about where you're going, it's about who you're becoming to get there. You need to become somebody to get there. You can't have a poor person's thinking or a weak mind if you want to be at the top of your game. You need to grow, and you do that through building your courage, and you get your courage through knocking over those obstacles.